Hey, it's me, Curtis. Welcome to the show. Wow, it's been a busy few weeks here. Last weekend, we had the CMC open house for those of you who live in Marin County. I'm hoping they're going to do something like that up in Petaluma. Would really love to be a part of that. Had a great turnout. Some of the folks from the University of California Marin Master Gardeners video team showed up and had a good time. We had some incredible food from D's Organic Catering. It was great. A lot of just friends get to see each other for the first time in a long time. Yeah, it was great. Today's show, I'm digging into my vault of shows from the past. When I was with the Food Network, one of my favorite shows, well, gotta be careful. It's like saying, who's your favorite kid, right? I loved all the shows I did with Food Network. It was a great time of life for me and my kids and my family. Shared so many memories with my mom and my brothers, my sisters, friends I brought on the shows with me. The show From My Garden was filmed up in Hopland at the Fetzer Winery, on the gardens of those beautiful organic gardens in Fetzer. And then we got a break, and I'll come back and tell you what's happening there. Got a guest on the show, one of the master gardeners up at Fetzer. So I hope you enjoyed this one and part of Pick of the Day we're going to throw in the middle there. Peace, spread love. Welcome back to my garden, but in reality it's Jeff Dawson's garden, my partner in crime today on this show. Jeff, the question that comes to my mind, and the crew also, is why a garden at a winery? I thought you guys made wine.
Well, Curtis, you've had a chance to taste the produce from the garden, right?
You're right.
Is it
right.
good?
Oh, man, it's out of sight.
Well, we're trying to grow the best quality produce we can so that we can prepare it in our kitchen and match it with the Fetzer wines. We're looking at a different way of marketing wine. We want to market wine with food.
Oh, okay.
And so the garden produces the food, the chefs cook it up, and we serve it together.
Match it up. So now, what do you grow in this gorgeous garden?
Well, throughout the year, we have over 1,000 varieties of fruits, vegetables, herbs, and flowers.
Wow, flowers also?
Edible flowers and flowers for attracting insects.
Insects, okay, now, so insects, this garden is organic. Two questions here. First off, why organic? And what's the deal?
Well, we feel that we want to promote a sustainable type of farming. And without the use of chemicals, we've created a garden that's safer to work in for the employees. It produces clean food that's free of chemicals.
I like that.
And we feel that it's better quality. We feel like organic produce is the best quality produce you can get.
All right, I got to hold the question on the insects because I keep thinking about this soil here. I see these beautiful rows. If you folks at home, we see the blossoms like these eggplants here, but the rows are heaped over like I guess the humps on a camel. It's one of those, you know what I mean? What causes that?
Well, these beds have been double dug. They're raised beds.
Whoa, slow down now.
Okay.
Double dug.
Double dug. That means that the soil has been dug out.
Okay.
We've removed 12 to 18 inches of soil, brought compost in, mixed the compost up with some soil to bring it back up to level. Then we take more compost and more soil and build it up even higher so that we have this deep area for the roots to grow into.
So, like 10 years from now, we're gonna have rows about this high, or
no, we keep it at a certain level.
Okay, good.
But by having that good soil there, we can plant the plants closer and get more produce out of per square feet. Yeah.
All right. The other thing too, now we got all these beautiful eggplants. What happens if the kitchen doesn't use all this food? Where does it go? What do you do with all this?
Well, the kitchen uses the food first. They have, the idea is to produce as much fresh, good quality produce for the kitchen. Then we have another kitchen that preserves it. We pickle, we sauce, we dry, we do all kinds of things so we can preserve it for the off season.
I brought some shears. I keep seeing this beautiful eggplant here. Can I go clip this?
Go pick it.
I've got a basket too to throw some things in. I'm going to cut this one loose so we can let everyone home see this. Ooh, look at that! Isn't that gorgeous? What kind is that?
Well, we call this robbing the cradle.
Robbing the cradle. Watch out! Watch out!
This is the baby eggplant. This is a Waimanalo long. It comes from Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah.
Waimanalo long.
Now this eggplant will get 18 inches long.
Wow.
And about an inch round, and it's still incredibly tender.
It's from Hawaii?
It's from Hawaii.
Now, we're in Honolulu. They're watching us in Honolulu right now. So,
well,
what do we say? Mahalo and keep eating, keep sending us these eggplants. Now, we also have the blossoms here. I don't know. Let's move closer so we can get a picture of these wonderful blossoms. Let's see now. I'll take one off of there. Isn't that a gorgeous,
beautiful
blossom?
It's beautiful.
Now, what could people at home do to grow organic or any type of produce? Any quick tips that they could folks at home
home for growing if they don't have a big garden like this?
Well, one of the important things here at our garden is compost. And we make our compost from waste from the kitchen, weeds, grass clippings, but then we also have the grape pumice that comes from the winery.
Right, okay.
It's the seeds and the stems after they've pressed the grapes for wine. We mix that up into a pile, add some water, turn it every 3 or 4 weeks, and in 4 or 5 months we've got a rich compost that we add to the soil.
So folks can do that. They can just compost and instead of throwing away all that good produce left, or whatever, what do we call that? Those produce rinds, pile them up and use them in your gardens. Beautiful. Now, earlier you were talking about you have, well, how big is the garden first?
The garden's 5 acres.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was thinking it was larger than that, but it's 5 acres.
It's 5 acres.
Okay, so you get a lot of stuff out of 5 acres. We've got flowers, we've got an herb garden. How do you decide what goes in here?
Well, we talk to the chefs, and then we want to grow what they can cook with, what they want to do recipe development with. And then also we experiment. We have 40 different varieties of eggplants here.
Oh, really?
We've got 50 different varieties of melons, 25 watermelons,
Wow.
35 different sweet peppers. So the idea is to experiment. It's kind of like a laboratory, and it's also like a classroom because we do educational teaching here. We have people come in.
Let's move a little bit. You were talking about this teaching, and I see these beautiful squash here. We've got some squash plants here, Jeff, and I see the patty pan, I see zucchini, and I also see these beautiful little round squash that I haven't seen in a market anywhere. This one here, can we clip one? Oh, great. And tell us about this particular squash.
Well, this is a French squash called Round Denise, and it comes from Nice, France.
Round Denise?
Round Denise. So it's a round squash from Nice in France.
Great,
so,
great. It's a beautiful, I should have brought my knife down as well instead of just my scissors.
It's like a round zucchini.
Ooh, okay, we'll cut one. I'm going to put this in my pocket, so we'll cut this a little later. Now, how about the peppers? Now, all these guys, we've got eggplant, then peppers are members of the nightshade family, right?
That's right. Well, peppers, yeah, the squash aren't. And
squash in the gourd family, right?
Potatoes and then tomatoes are also in the same family.
Oh, great. So, do we have any potatoes on the farm?
Yeah, we do. We have a couple rows. We're going to produce a lot of potatoes.
Ooh,
a lot of potatoes.
Tell me about the peppers here. The peppers here. We got all these pepper plants here.
These are all sweet peppers. And they actually come from all over. We have some Italian varieties, some Mexican varieties, French varieties, and some American standbys.
Ooh,
and
all these New World peppers, huh?
Right.
Now, I've been kind of easing my way over because I keep seeing these apple trees, Jeff. Your apple trees are crooked. What up?
Well, you know, when we planted them, there was a really strong wind.
Oh.
No, not really.
He wants to be a comedian, too.
Actually, this is a European form of pruning. It's called an oblique cordon.
Oblique cordon.
And it's a espalier type of planting. And the idea here is to plant the tree on an angle towards the west, which is where the sun sets. And so in the afternoon, when the sun gets very hot, the tree and the leaves protect the fruit from the sun, which will burn if it gets too much exposure.
Makes sense. So what type of apples do we have here?
We've got Gravensteins, Golden Delicious, Gala, Fuji.
Golden Delicious, those are kind of some of the standby. You've got Fuji, which is that new apple that's really hot all across the country.
Exactly, and the Gala is just like that. It's a new apple also.
Fabulous apple. Look for those in your supermarkets, folks. If you can't grow them in your backyard, we both, right? Can I speak for you here?
Sure.
We both recommend the Gala and the Fuji apple. Not only good for eating out of hand, but great to cook with as well, huh?
Yes.
Okay. What other apples we got here?
The Gravenstein, which is a great pie apple.
Yeah, and that's a local apple, too, that's really popular out in Northern California, isn't
it?
Right, yeah. Those of you back east, I hope you get a chance to try the Gravenstein. What do we do now if we want to get some of these wonderful seeds that you have here? How can we get them, Jeff?
Well, we produce seed here at the Fetzer Winery, and they're available through us.
All millions of folks to write you, or no?
Well, we have a stack of seed catalogs that we work with.
Okay.
And there must be 20, 30 different seed companies that we purchase seed from. Okay. And then we work with Seed Savers Exchange, which is in Iowa.
Seed Savers Exchange.
Yeah, it's a clearinghouse for growers like myself, people who collect varieties of vegetables, and they save the seed from these vegetables.
Oh, great.
And then they offer them through the Seed Savers Exchange.
I like that. I really like that. Jeff, this is just a wonderful, wonderful garden. These eggplant, I love the blossom on them. And the sunflower. Now, tell me, you had talked earlier about having flowers and attracting bugs. Is that a big part of organic
It's a big part of organic farming. What we're trying to do is to create a natural habitat for the insects. And we attract the insects.
You guys hear that? For the insects.
For the insects.
I'm from Georgia, right? I want to get some off. Wouldn't it be easier to put like a can of Raid or something?
Well, these aren't mosquitoes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, these aren't flies and mosquitoes. These are more like, wasps, ladybugs, things like that, spiders, and they come and they feed on pollen and nectar.
Right.
And so by having lots of flowers in the garden, we have an area where they will come and feed, and hopefully they'll go out and they'll munch on the bad insects.
Oh, okay, so it's kind of like counteracts each other.
Yeah, we're trying to create a natural balance.
What do you do if the guy next door is using pesticides? How do you counteract that?
Well, it's done by relationship with our neighbors. You know, we have a good relationship. They respect what we're doing.
Okay.
They recognize that we're trying to be organic, and so they really are respectful in when they use their pesticides.
Well, Jeff has promised me now, we're going to take a little break. He's promised me that we're going to bring a lot of tomatoes, other members of this nightshade family over and do some tasting, as well as talk about some of the other wonderful things in this garden. You're going to stick to your promise, right?
That's right.
I look forward to tasting these tomatoes.
The best you ever had.
Don't y'all go away, because we're going to be eating from my garden in a few minutes. Welcome back to my garden. The show is From My Garden. I'm Curtis Aikens here visiting with Jeff Dawson, the man who's created this wonderful garden. Before Jeff and I start chatting again and tasting, I have a handful of sun-dried tomatoes here. And I was talking with Jeff earlier about what do they do with the produce or if they don't use it all. And they've got all kinds of ways I'm discovering with these sun-dried tomatoes. You can find them all across the country, either dried in packets, aired like this, or packed in oil, and they need to be rehydrated. These are wonderful. I was just eating one coming in here, and I'm like crazy. And then Jeff says to me, what do you say?
I said, "What you taste the fresh ones."
You ain't tasted nothing yet. So I'm ready to taste, man. Oh, by the way, during the break, I tried that round Denise.
That's it?
Yeah, the French squash. This was really good, gang. So if you can find those seeds and want to grow some in your garden, do it. All right, doctor. Feed me.
Okay, Curtis. What we have here is we have a handful of tomatoes.
Okay.
This is a big handful out of we grow 115 varieties.
Wow. You're
now
right.
think about that.
Yeah,
That's a lot of tomatoes.
Okay.
But what we've done is we selected the best varieties out of over 100 varieties, and we're saving these for seed and we're making them available to the public. Now we've got a lot of interesting varieties like that come from Russia.
Okay.
This is called black Karim. This is what they call a black tomato.
Ooh.
I mean, it's more brownish purple, but it's not your regular red tomato.
Yeah, look at that, the green. And I always tell folks to buy tomatoes that are colored from the tip to bottom, or from stem end to bottom, and this kind of breaks that rule, huh?
Well, these are heirloom tomatoes, and they are a little bit different. And heirloom, they're old varieties, so they haven't been hybridized to be perfect.
Yes, I love that. It's kind of like what Granddad used to do. Granddad would tell me, he'd say in the garden, you know, it's sun ripened. So sometimes it didn't have all that color that you see in the grocery store sun, but you know, when it's got the sun behind it, you got good eating. That's what Grandpa would say.
Exactly.
You cut, I'll eat.
So this tomato has a real unique flavor. It's kind of smoky and a little bit earthy.
Smoky? Earthy?
Earthy, yeah. It's different for a tomato flavor.
Good.
But it's definitely sweet.
Oh, wow. This is wonderful. This is really wonderful. What kind of what was it again?
Black Karim from the Crimean coast of Russia.
The Crimean coast of Russia. Ooh, more. Feed me more.
Okay, this is another heirloom.
Okay.
And this is called Big White Pink Stripes.
I love these names.
Descriptive, you know.
Big White Pink Stripes.
Now this one, you tell me what it tastes like.
Okay. Here we go. I love this part of my job. Wow, it just tastes good. It tastes like a tomato, but it doesn't have all the acid.
Yeah, very low
kind
acid.
Of sweet.
Kind of melon-like.
Mmm.
You pick that up a little bit?
Mmm. I do. This is wonderful.
It's a delicious variety.
Isn't this great? Yeah. Now, what kind of big white?
Big white pink stripes.
Pink stripe. Now, is that what we look for in the seed catalog?
Exactly. A lot of these are from Seed Savers Exchange,
wow.
But the seed catalogs are carrying more and more of these old varieties of tomatoes because people like the flavor.
The flavor really comes out. Good. More.
Okay, one more we've got here. This is the variety that you tasted dry. This is from Czechoslovakia. Wow. It's called Stupus.
Stupus.
It's
okay. Is he trying to say I'm stupid?
It's Stupus. Stupid.
Gee, thank you, buddy. If I wasn't in this garden, I'd say get out of it. No. Okay. Now this is kind of the sweet one that I had earlier.
Exactly.
Oh wow. can you imagine a marinara with this tomato?
Oh, it's great.
Wouldn't that be incredible?
Yeah, this is real tomato flavor.
So now here at Fetcher, you do the wine mixing. Now, who will we talk to about what wines to serve with tomatoes? Or is that your field as well?
That's my field also. I spend all day tasting tomatoes and wine. A Fumé Blanc would go really well. Sauvignon Blanc, a wine that has a good amount of fruit, not too much acid. Although the acid balances pretty well with the tomato, so a Chardonnay would also work.
A Chardonnay. Okay, great. Now you have underneath it. Well.
Go ahead. You ready for one more?
This is my favorite. I can taste them all.
This is my favorite. This is Pink Sweet.
Sweet.
This is a pink variety, kind of a pink beef steak. It's real big.
Ooh.
But this is my favorite. This has got some real tomato flavor.
All right. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Look at that.
Let's that is the veins in that tomato is just wonderful. All right, I'll taste while you cut and talk.
Well, these are the first tomatoes of the season. This is our first real harvest of tomatoes.
Oh.
What do you think of the first part of the show? Jeff is incredible. What a wealth of knowledge when it comes to gardening, organic gardening, also wine pairing. Well, since we've been talking about those beautiful tomatoes, I thought before we wrap the show up, talking about peppers and other things from that beautiful Fetzer garden, we'd do a little thing with some tomatoes. What do you think, huh? Roasted tomatoes, some tasting tomatoes, and I will make for you a tomato soup. All right, y'all, remember, it's always about spreading love and having a good time. And just remember, there's so many groups out there that need our help. If you get a chance to volunteer, whether it's to teach kids in the garden or teach reading at the local schools or literacy agencies, whatever it is, it's always about spreading love. His love, her love, the love from above. Peace, and spread that love.
Hey, welcome back. You see the apron? It's time to cook. We're going to do tomato soup on today's show, Pick of the Day. We've been talking about tomatoes and got some wonderful, wonderful things for you here. Got some roasted tomatoes right here. Aren't those gorgeous? We just roasted those in the oven. You can do those on the grill. There's a lot of ways to roast them. Nice color there, and I just love the flavor of this. These can be eaten just like that with a little vinaigrette dressing over them, or you can add some oil and vinegar, whichever you like to do, or in your salads, or with some cheese. Here's something else too. I've got some oven-dried tomatoes. You hear a lot about sun-dried tomatoes, but this is something you can do right in your own home. You can dry these in the oven. I like a 200, 225-degree oven. That's not a hot oven. That's just kind of a warm oven. You want to slice your tomatoes and then just lay them on like a cookie sheet or on the racks there, and they dry up nicely. And they have such a wonderful, wonderful flavor. It's one of the things I love about dried tomatoes. It's like that condensed tomato flavor. Just so I want to eat this now. They're great in salads. They're great in pasta dishes. And I thought I'd show you here before we get started in making our soup how to peel, an easy way to peel a tomato, right? I've got a nice peeling knife. No, I'm just kidding here. I'm going to take a round tomato like this and just kind of scar it across the top. Not very deep, just a little scar like that. You've probably seen this on cooking shows all across the country, but we want to make sure you know how to do it. And I've got a pot of really hot water. I'm going to drop that in. 10 seconds or so, 10, 15 seconds at max, because if you're leaving it that much longer that you wind up cooking the tomato, and we don't want to do that. So you just really want to get that skin nice and hot. So what do you think that is? Is that 10 seconds, everybody? That should be 10 seconds, huh? Okay. I can't count today. So we're taking this out with our little wire basket here. Okay. I'm going to plunge it into some cold water and just roll it around there. That shocks the tomato. That stops the cooking if it had started. And then the skin should just pop right off of there, okay? See how easy that peels off? Nice peeled tomato. Now let me tell you a truth, okay? One of the Curtis truths in life. Again, being a country boy, I never peel a tomato. I can't help it. It's like, the peel has something to do with the tomato. So I shouldn't say never. Never say never, right? I very rarely will peel the tomato. Although look how easy that works. So if you... the recipe calls for peeled tomatoes. You know how to do it. But if you're like me, you'll just ignore those directions here. Let's do a little housekeeping. I'm going to take this water off the pot so you have off the burner so you have a clear shot at everything I do. Okay, now let's get busy. We're going to make our tomato soup, and I've got my burner here. I'm going to add a little bit of oil to my pan along with some butter. remember, and I've told you this on so many occasions, that the oil will help raise the smoking point of the butter. Why are we adding butter? And we're just adding a little bit. It gives it kind of a smooth, creamy taste. So butter just adds something. Sometimes there's just no substitute for butter. Butter makes it better, as Mama would say. Okay, now I've got some diced tomatoes here, and I've got some parsnip and carrots, grated carrots. I've got grated parsnips and grated carrots. But the first ingredient that goes in our soup pot after the oil are our onions. And I want you at home to take and cook the onions for about 3 to 4 minutes. You really want to get those cooked in nicely, because this is the base for your soup. This is a really simple soup. We've got, 4 ingredients here. So take your time, and you don't want to really brown the onions, but you want to let them cook until they're translucent, till they're clear. And notice I'm continually stirring here. I could add a bit more olive oil there. Just a bit. Okay. I'm also going to add just a pinch of salt, maybe a double pinch there. Okay, right in the onions. Why? That helps bring the liquid out of the helps bring the liquid out of the onions. Okay, that salt does right there. Brings a lot of flavor out. Oh, those are looking really pretty. Can you see that? I cast a pretty big shadow here, don't I? Right over my pot. But, oh, great shot there, baby. Ow! Looking good. So we're going to add next. We're going to add our parsnip. And take your time. You can grate that parsnip right over your pot there. Get yourself a nice little grater, and you just grate it right in there. One parsnip, right? That's all you really need there. And let that cook for a couple of minutes there. And add our carrots. This soup is incredible. Again, you can grate this right over the pot, or you can grate it ahead of time like we've done here. Add those to it. Straighten it up a bit. And remember now, whenever a recipe, when you're working with tomatoes, a great thing to add, some of the herbs that are wonderful with tomatoes, things like basil, wonderful with tomatoes, marjoram, oregano, all those herbs are great. Now we're adding our diced tomatoes. Boy, that looks good. I love tomato soup. We're going to let this simmer. We're going to add this, let this cook for a second with a lid on at home for about 5 minutes. Just let all the juices come out. And the last thing we're going to add here is our vegetable broth, okay? We've got to let all those natural juices from the tomatoes, the onions, and everything come out. We're going to add a nice homemade vegetable broth here. Just pour that right in. We want to bring this to a boil, let this come to a boil, and then lower it to simmer, right? Right. Ooh la la. I love tomato soup. Now, earlier when I was doing my little shopping segment, you saw me pick up some noodles. That'll be a good time you can add your noodles. Don't add too many, because the soup will really become thick if you add a lot of noodles. You can also add rice here, but again, I would add cooked rice, because it won't absorb all the moisture. If you add uncooked rice, it will really soak up all the moisture. I'm going to go ahead and place a lid on here. And here's the soup. I've got it already prepared. Let's bring it over. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at the color there. Oh, wonderful, wonderful soup. There's a little restaurant in Marin County called Umberto's that makes a wonderful tomato and carrot soup. But you know what? I think mine will rival Umberto's. Okay, we're going to add the tomato. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Can you imagine that? We can take some of that nice bread that I've got back here in the back and serve that up some rolls. Beautiful, beautiful soup. Let's walk this over here. We'll put it with our other dishes. We're going to take a little break. When we come back, I got a tip for you. Got a hug for you, too. So don't you get lost, and definitely don't turn that dial. Ooh. Now, before we cut the peppers, you brought a couple of peppers here that remembers that nightshade family. You've got a melon hiding on there that I really want to taste.
Well, yeah, I think it's ripe.
This bad boy, ooh. Oh, look at that.
This is another heirloom variety. It's called Thayer's Musk. It's an old musk melon.
Ah.
Oh, that's perfect.
Oh, the aroma. Look, when you're buying melons in the market, if they don't smell like a flower, pass up on them, huh? Because this is wow. Okay, show's over. I gotta eat. No, I'm getting. Oh, what's the name of this again now?
Thayer Musk.
Thayer Musk. Look for that seed. And grow it in your backyard. Can you imagine that chill? Those of you who love prosciutto, the The hams, you might love that. I think some grilled portobello mushrooms go great with that.
Perfect.
And what kind of wine?
A Gewürztraminer.
A Gewürz. Ooh. Hey, he knows I love those sweet wines. So
Sweet wine with a sweet melon.
Oh, I love that. Now the pepper here. This was that sweet.
This is a White Beauty.
White Beauty. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna cut and you taste this,
okay,
now, sir. And I'll cut and I'll taste as well. What do you think?
Real crunchy.
Oh,
A little bit of pepper flavor there, but sweet.
I love that. I think this would be great sautéed again, or sliced in a salad with a nice vinaigrette dressing over it.
We like to do them on the grill.
You
know, grill them up and then
I
peel the
learned
skin.
something new out here too. just grill it up. I kind of like roast it. And then peel the skin back and use it.
And then it's ready to go.
Well, I'm going to do a show on just peppers. I got to get out there and I'm going to show you all these ideas. Talk about things to do with these peppers. Now, what about this one right here? This is another pepper you picked, but you wanted something bigger, so you found that nice sweet one for me. But this color, that passionate purple color, what?
Now, this is a new variety. This is a hybrid called Islander.
Islander, that tropical thing up here in Northern California. I love that.
Yeah.
It's got it going on. What do you think it tastes like, or have we tasted?
Now, this would be pretty mild because it's young. You know, as they develop in size, they develop more flavor, more crunchiness.
Look at the color. You slice into it, isn't that just beautiful?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the interesting thing about peppers is they all start out green. So your green pepper is basically a pepper before it ripens.
Right.
And then they're bred to ripen to different colors. You know, so it starts green, then you'll have one that goes white, purple, orange, yellow, but they all end up red.
So now, if you're wanting to grow peppers, do you save those seeds inside there?
Well, you'd save those seeds, but you'd save it from a variety that wasn't a hybrid. It'd have to be open pollinated. These are varieties that aren't hybrids. You can save the seed and plant it again after year.
Like these, we could save the seeds from these tomatoes and grow them because they're not hybrid, huh?
That's right.
Jeff, I want you to come back to my garden someday. We're going to have to wrap up pretty soon here, but will you make time for us again and maybe bring a couple of bottles of wine that we can...
love to.
Okay?
All right.
And if the folks out there want to ever visit Valley Oaks, what do you suggest to them?
Come on to Mendocino County, Hopland, California, Fetzer Vineyards.
Yeah, all right.
We'll give you a tour.
As for my man, Jeff. Jeff, it's been such a pleasure.
Thanks
I
a lot,
believe
Curtis.
in hugs, so we're going to go out with a
buddy.
hug. All right. Bye, everybody. Love you so much. Keep watching. Peace out. Peace out. God bless.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's show. And did you notice my virtual backgrounds have been changing? This is one of my favorites, right? I've got the green screen going, and I just love the daisy there. You see the water in the morning on it, and just, I'm going to be right in the daisy. I love this. I hope you enjoy Pick of the Day from my garden, and also the Curtis Aikens Show here on CMCM, Marin Community Television, as well as PCA, Petaluma Community Television. Community TV needs us to get involved. I mean, this is a place that we, as people that live in Marin and Sonoma County, we can share our stories ourselves. So if you can, make a donation to the local community television station, PCA or CMCM. And more than that, go get involved. Go get to know the folks at those two offices and see what you can do to be involved. And let's make our communities great. Peace, spread love. See you soon.